That's way too quiet. We're gonna fix that. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the channel and welcome to the shop, which we've been building. Today we're going to be doing some exhaust work on the F150. Here's all the stuff we're going to be installing in today's video. First things first, we'll go over the exhaust piping kit, which I got from Dinovox. This is their 4-inch piping DIY kit that they sell on their website. It's all 308 stainless steel. It's 17 gauge, so it's plenty strong, and it's also polished. It comes with two 90-degree bends, two 135-degree bends, and two 180-degree bends. The two straight pipes are about 39.5 inches long, and that is pretty much it for the DIY kit. Now, if you look over here, we also have a resonator, which I got from Amazon. I'll leave a link to that in the description. But it's pretty much a straight-through design. It actually has some pretty good muffling capabilities. I'll show you that in just a minute. We also have some V-bands that I picked up from Amazon, which I'm really excited to use. And we have the steel rod, which is going to be good for all of our hangers. All right, let's test out this big resonator, see how good it is. Hello, hello, can you hear me? Whoa. Now the straight pipe. Hello, hello, can you hear me? Whoa. I think that makes quite a difference. So enough messing around, let's take off the old exhaust.
Perfect.
First things first, we need to disconnect the exhaust from our aftermarket downpipe, which I installed in a previous video if you guys want to see that. It's a full 3-inch stainless steel downpipe, so it'll match perfectly with our new stainless steel exhaust once we get it all welded up. And it is a full catless system, so basically when we install this exhaust, this thing's going to be fully straight piped. Hopefully it doesn't sound like a John Deere tractor. All right, all the bolts are disconnected. We just got some copper gasket here that might be holding this thing in just a little bit of water in the exhaust. There we go. And one of the craziest things about this exhaust, which is actually super restrictive, is obviously we got our 3-inch downpipes right here. They're all 3-inch. They Y into a single 3, and then it goes into a 2.5, which this is the stock exhaust. It goes 2.5 all the way till that muffler right there. On the back side of that, it goes into 3. So just replacing this part with a 3-inch exhaust would improve flow quite a bit. But what I want to do is actually slice this 3-inch piping off right here and weld in a 4-inch. Now we just gotta undo the hangers. I'm gonna try to leave them connected. There we go. We got another hanger for the big muffler right here. Holy sh! All right, it's off. Oh my gosh, it's actually quite heavy. Oh. Well, that wasn't hard at all. It came down from that hanger, and also that hanger as soon as I started pushing the exhaust that way. So comes off pretty easy if you guys are gonna take the stock exhaust off. But thank God for a lift kit, because I would probably have to cut this pipe in half. But since we got quite a bit of room right there, I could probably sneak this crossover pipe over that axle. That thing's a piece of junk.
Not bad.
Definitely hear the turbo more.
Yeah, that's not bad though.
Next up, I need to remove this Y pipe, which is going to be a little bit difficult to do because the clamps are right up there, but I'll go ahead and remove those. All right, Now I'm honestly curious how this is gonna sound with a diverted exhaust. Let's test that out. I gotta say, without being under load, it actually sounds pretty good. All right, so here's a Y pipe that I'm gonna need to modify. As you can see, it goes in from two 3-inch pipes into a single 3-inch pipe. What I want to do to increase flow on this is to make this a 4-inch pipe. So to do that, I'm actually gonna have to cut it about right here, get one of these straight pipes right here. And actually, because this is slightly offset, I'm going to have to try to angle this slightly this way. I'm also planning on just crushing the end just slightly to kind of oval this out. That way it fits over this properly. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna have the cut about right here. So I'll go ahead and give myself a little bit of leeway. That way I don't overcut, and we'll go ahead and cut that off.
Perfect.
Little scuffer disc. All right, so this is pretty much how it's gonna look like. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think I'm gonna do one more heat cycle on this to try and get it ovaled out just a little bit more so it fits properly on that. I got this thing clocked off to one side just slightly. I think I can probably just eyeball that. It's not a huge deal as long as it's slightly going this way. And once I get that all lined up, I'm probably gonna cut about right here and try and get this lined up with the bottom so that it's level. And then I'll put our V-band on top of it. But as for welding, I'm actually using the titanium Flux core welder. It's the 125. It's actually Harbor Freight's not their cheapest welder, but is their smallest flux core welder. For wire, I'm actually using the 308 LFC0. This is for stainless steel. I didn't know that they made this, but it's actually flux core stainless steel wire. Now I've welded stainless steel with just mild steel wire, which you're not supposed to do, but it actually holds pretty well. This stuff, I did a little bit of testing with it. It's extremely difficult to weld. Here's this piece right here. It looks super ugly because I was just testing out the settings, but it's actually extremely strong. As you can see this, I tried to bend it. I hit it with a hammer a bunch of times. it actually is extremely strong. So it's not going to look the prettiest, but it is going to hold. It's not going to rust because it's stainless steel. Without further ado, let's get this thing tacked up, test fit it, and get it all welded up.
Perfect.
Well guys, I gotta say, this is definitely not my best work. That stainless steel flux core wire is incredibly difficult to use. I really just need a more powerful welder because even with the amperage turned all the way up, it still can't really penetrate this 17 gauge the best. If you look in there, you can see a little bit of weld, but it's not penetrating like I want it to. So what I'll probably do is grind all of this flat, go over it again and turn my wire speed down just a bit. I think I have my wire speed turned up just too much, but let me clean this thing up. Well guys, went ahead and ground down those welds and I put another weld all the way across it and it's just not working out for me. No matter what the settings do, it just not going to penetrate this. I really just need a stronger welder. This is gonna be kind of a risky decision, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and grind all this down, get the mild steel wire, because I know the mild steel wire will penetrate this no problem, and I'm a lot more comfortable using it. So I went ahead and welded the V-band on here, and you can see I cleaned these welds better. They're looking better, they're not perfect. That's because you had to do a bunch of passes on them because the stainless steel wire just made a big mess. But you can see up here where I welded the V-band, it's not looking too terrible. Just a lot of spatter from that mild steel wire, but that can be easily cleaned up. All right, that's about as much time as I want to spend on this. All right, let's go fill this in. I gotta say, actually looks pretty good. You can kind of see the flow in there, how well this thing is gonna flow. Did put some of that copper silicone back on there so it doesn't leak, but everything fits pretty nicely. Nothing's touching, it's actually pretty far away. It's actually really stout too. I got this lined up perfectly to where it's about 6 inches away from the frame and it's about level with the bottom right here. All right, so I went ahead and shot the ends off of this resonator slash muffler. It was the clamp-on style, so it had those like little fins that were made to clamp on and squeeze. So I already had this whipped up just to test to make sure the pipe that I just welded in was all straight, and it was, so I went ahead and chopped the end off of it, and this will go just like that. So we'll go ahead and tack that in. And like I mentioned, this is made for a clamp-on style, so it's a little bit thinner metal, so I'll turn my heat down just a little bit when I weld that.
Perfect.
All right guys, got that piece all cleaned up, all polished up, sort of polished. My polisher isn't really polishing it like how I want it. It's getting pretty late out here, but I just got a pretty exciting thing. You can see it right there, and it's absolutely money. And this is pretty much off the eyeball right here, and it is perfect. Jump to the back right here. So you can see plenty of room for everything. The entire Y pipe and everything is just super tight. V-band is awesome right there. Glad I went with those. And looks like this is just gonna be a straight shot all the way back. We honestly don't even need a axle crossover, but I'm just gonna go ahead and run a small one. Here's one of the 40-inch straights. Let's see where this ends up. Probably need to trim it just a bit. I think what I honestly want to do is go ahead and make the axle crossover piece. So I got this pretty much how I want it. I'm gonna run a 135 to a 90, and then we're gonna have a 135 going like this. So I got this kind of marked out how I want it. This is pretty much the exact angle. So from the bottom of this pipe to the top of this pipe is going to be right at 12. I got it lined up with the table. So what we're gonna need to do is cut about 4 inches off of this 90-degree piping on each end. Fits good, let's weld her up.
Hola, niño.
Alright guys, it's getting extremely late out here, but I'm pretty determined to get this done tonight. Here's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't got anything welded in just yet, but I got this pipe kind of leveled how I want it. Got a hanger actually bent right there. I don't have that welded at all yet, but looking pretty good. Let's look from the backside here. But as you can see, we don't need much of an axle crossover. I think I actually made it a little bit too big, but that is okay. This is what the axle crossover piece looks like so far. It actually looks really good. The welds almost look like they're stainless steel, but it's actually mild steel. It's just polished. So V-band's already on that side. So the V-band is going to go right here. So I'm gonna have to cut that pipe just slightly to get the axle crossover to go directly over the axle. So that needs to come off about 2 inches or so, and then I'll put the V-band on that. Is to disconnect the exhaust, I can undo that V-band, undo this V-band, and I can pretty much pull out this whole muffler section. And if I ever want to someday throw another resonator or something in here, I can do that. Because if this is too loud, I'm probably gonna throw a small muffler right there. That's the right angle. A little high. Beautiful. All right, I got that pipe. All right, I got that pipe all welded. All right, I got that pipe.
That you do.
All right, off camera, I got that pipe tacked off, pulled it off, welded everything up. I still need to polish it and test everything for leaks. It's super late, like I mentioned already like a million times. So I'm gonna probably hit the hay, but I do want to start this and hear what this thing sounds like. Right now, the exhaust is just coming straight out to the axle right there, which should just be fine, but we do have the resonator in, so it should sound a lot different.
That you
All right, I got that pipe all welded. All right, I got that pipe. 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 All right, I took out all of the turbo whistle. All right, it's died down. I don't really know what to think of it. It didn't really sound the best when it first started up. I was really just wanting some turbo whistle, and that kind of just sounded like a V6. So I'm not exactly sure if that resonator was a good idea. I probably needed just an actual muffler. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So I'll go ahead and drive it home and see if I like it or not. All right, it's the next day. I went ahead and took that muffler piece off that I welded up last night, and I'm just gonna go ahead and drive it around like this, see how I like it. I really like the turbo whistle, and we'll do a little bit of flybys from the outside, but it sounds kind of like a diesel almost. It drones really bad because the exhaust is right underneath the floorboards, but yeah. I love that turbo whistle though. All right guys, I actually had to leave and it's been a few days since I last worked on this, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you an update. So I went ahead and got the V-band welded up on this side. So you can see it's right there. I got the clamp for the welder on there, and I actually got this piece welded up as well that goes over the axle. So you can see it's just a perfect axle crossover. I'm never gonna have that much flex in the suspension, but just in case I ever do bottom out or something, it's not gonna hit the exhaust. And right now I'm working on this piece. This is the exit piece. And this is what it looks like. I think it's looking pretty good. It's a little bit different than the factory one, which exits somewhere around right here. This one kind of exits more towards the back. It's not finished just yet. I'm not sure if I want to raise it or lower it, just in case I want to throw a bigger tip on. But let me step back just a little bit. That is what it's looking like. I think I'll probably do something with this, throw some kind of tip on here or something. I think it looks a little bit weird with nothing, but it does look like a ginormous 4-inch pipe, but I think it gives it a little bit more of a different look. I pretty much got this all tacked in, and that hanger is mounted as well. Beautiful. I don't know if you guys can hear that sound, but it's actually this muffler, and it's already failed. So if I press right here, you don't really notice it all when you're driving or when you rev it, but it's something I do want to address, but probably in a future episode. But anyways, here's what the new exhaust looks like. Nice straight pipe right there. I ended up leaving this hanger right here, and it seems to be good enough. This doesn't really seem to wobble around too much. If it does shake quite a bit, I probably will throw another mount somewhere right along here just to keep that stable. But we're utilizing all of the factory mounts. We got a V-band right there, which is really nice. straight pipe right here where we can throw another resonator or flex pipe in, just kind of reduce some of the drone, which I probably will do because this thing does drone pretty bad when I have driven it. Here's our muffler that we're probably going to throw away and put a new one in there, and another straight pipe that goes into our custom Y pipe, and then it goes into our aftermarket down pipes. She comes.